and that's worthless. Absolutely worthless.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they are antithetical to Path of Exile 2. These builds are the strongest and they are the most disgusting. They clutter the screen in boss fights and it's nasty and it's too powerful, and they need to either A, deleted from the game until GGG can figure out what to do with them, or B, significantly changed.
All right. So, no. What does it look like?
You don't want to see my
Post
temples.
the temple.
My
Post your temple pics.
My temple's a little embarrassing. It was really cold here. It was cold.
Any lawn animation is super cool the first time.
Agreed.
The 50th time?
Welcome to episode 2 of Brothers in Exile, a weekly Path of Exile 2 podcast with two brothers in real life, in which we talk about Path of Exile 2. One person left a comment that I think exemplified the podcast, bro, and it was two noobs talking about Path of Exile 2, my new favorite podcast. Sound good?
Oh yeah, that sounds perfect. That is on record. I only like to be honest, I only have 600 hours in the game. That's nothing compared to other individuals out there, which is insane. And I'm like, once again, it's a game. Just keep coming back to league after league and keep learning stuff. So I think he's dead on.
Okay, well, combined we have over 1,000 hours, so that's okay. I think it's decent.
I mean, like, is my hours worth more than your hours? Like, yeah, like I went into the farming methods. You're just kind of doing whatever. You did like second win. I went into temple. I mean, like, if we measure the value of our hours by div per hour, we can see who's got more valuable time.
I'm pretty sure that you've earned me by a magnitude of, like 100 or more. It's kind of ridiculous. That's okay. I've had a lot of fun, but I mean, we've both had a good chunk of fun in PoE2 so far, and obviously in episode 1, if you missed it, it's up on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, guys, go check them out. Also check out Cast on Comet's channel, which still has 0 content but almost 100 subs. Took me like 19 videos to get 100 subs, but that's besides the point. We are now going to talk about 0.4, the Fate of the Vaal. That's the current league in Path of Exile 2. We're going on month number 27 or something like that of the league.
It just keeps going.
And I thought it would be fun before we go deep into all the different things added, like the league mechanic, like the Druid and talismans. Overall rating for the league defined by fun had. What would you give it, dude?
Out of 10, I'll give this an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Honestly, because all the other leagues, I failed, I faltered, I learned, and I came to this league with all my knowledge, and I still failed and faltered. But just the amount of abilities you're able to do in this league, like we're gonna get into it, right? But like the economy is so good. And I know it's such a controversial thing to say right off the get-go, but guys, it is like you can just spend those divs on random shit to get all your things you need. Like it's epic, honestly.
Okay,
like,
so you're in economy. So you like the economy.
Yeah.
You're a fan of what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
listen. It 0.4 did not add a lot of content. Can we agree on that? It added temple.
What do you mean?
Druid. It just added temple and druid. That's it.
That's a lot of content.
That's not like 0.3.
Okay, that's a new act.
Gems.
A new act. Okay,
new
lineage
act.
support. Okay.
Abyss. A new ascendancy locked in Abyss. More ascendancies.
I think that 0.4 added. I think it added more content to the game. Talismans unlocked a lot of potential. Okay, I feel like we'll talk about them a lot more later, but so many build possibilities. I think so many different cool new skills that you could blend together, like Pounce, so super useful. A lot of pre-built stuff for players too, with the different skills for shapeshifting. The Disciple of Varashta, that was a surprise final minute add. That was pretty sick. Yeah. And the Temple. I mean, if we were talking about this one weekend, I'd totally agree with you. I would say, yeah, it's just the Druid and the talismans and then a smattering of other stuff all throughout. But I think at this point, reflecting back, I see the Fate of the Vaal as actually a pretty deep league mechanic that I checked out of pretty quickly because of its complexity and because of how difficult it was to understand the mechanic with the tools in game. I didn't want to follow a popular streamer's guide or go and read how to do it. I want to do it in game. And I think if I knew what I knew now back a weekend, I'd be like, yeah, oh, this is so cool. I'm gonna dig in. I'm gonna learn it all. But it wasn't until like a month and a half in that they did the UI updates, and then you're starting to be taught the mechanic. I think it was actually a content-rich patch. So yeah, I will push back on that.
You know what? I'm gonna submit a little bit here. Just hold up. This does not happen often. I'm a big arguer, guys. But I think the amount of different pieces of content adds to the game was disappointing for 0.4. It was. Because we were supposed to get Druid in 0.3. We were all hyped about that. Not supposed to, but we were hyped to like heaven, pretty much, right? And then 0.4 was supposed to be an endgame update, and both of those features have been pushed back, and 0.4 itself is just a weapon, just a class, and just temple. And some additional things, right, from that. But it's not as big as we initially hoped for it, right? Okay. It isn't. It's However, true. The depth of Vaal Temple, I do have to submit that, like, I wrote it off immediately. I remember in our podcast with our dad, I said Temple was worthless. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was so wrong.
We were really off base on that one, weren't we?
Yeah, 100%. Noobs right there. Boom.
But it's you'd still give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. So,
oh yeah. 100%.
I mean, I would, at this point, I think I'd give it a 7. Launch week, I crashed out, gave it a 4, I think. 4 out of 10. 3 or 4 out of 10. I give it a 7 at this point after playing it. This is my most played league now, like 100+ hours, 2 characters over level 93. Why would you give it such a high score? Like, I know you're really into the trade, econs, and I think a lot of players here kind of shuddered when they heard you saying the economy was in a good state. So why don't you give a rundown? I'll give you the floor, dude, because you're the economic mastermind here.
Okay. I'm not a mastermind at all. Do not sell me as one. I'm just a guy trying to make a cool character. That is it. I see the economy as a way to get there. But I would like to say one thing here. The economy, right, follows the principles of capitalism. Let's just think that. Supply and demand, all right? Supply and demand. If you're trying to go for just div drops, you're going to fail. And by the way, you're going to fail with that method in any league, because there's always going to be a person with a faster build, with more rarity, who's getting more divines than you, who is outpacing you. Now, the main thing here is that all the other farm mechanics that don't really care about divine drops per hour, that is awesome. We're talking about the abyssal fragments and desecration crafting materials, those ancient collarbones worth 80 divines, the ritual omens worth 80 divines, everything else used in crafting worth like 80 to 200 divines. Like, you cannot go for a divine per drop farming method. And I'm going to be honest, I think this league kind of taught me that, like, even in the next league and the next league and the next league, you can't rely upon that. Someone's going to do it better than you, all right? So you go towards the inflation-resistant methods to gain your currency, right? You use the massive amount of supply of divs to make your money, because you're going to farm things that they have to pay 80 divs for, because the amount of ritual omens didn't increase in this league. Their price did, because there's so many divs.
Right. All from the temple, the printer. It's like, what is what's the saying? Come on, I'm going to try to be smart. In a gold rush, don't rush gold. Sell shovels, right? That's essentially it. That's like the strategy that you have to adopt, unless you were an early adopter of. I think there were 2 people who popularized this. I think it was Bubgun, and then one other content creator, Milky CBK, something like that, popularized the snake, and I think Cute Dog. That strategy, and if you didn't hop on that fast, you were behind, especially if you didn't use the Holton mechanic too. So that skyrocketed everything. So yeah, I think you're totally right, and that's something that I think other players probably also learned. And if they didn't, hey, here, you heard it from Cast on Comment and me. Look at other things. Don't look at, okay, I'm getting unlucky in maps and why are there so many dibs in the market and everything's so expensive. Go for the other things. 100%. Yep. And it's not even like league mechanic stuff. PoE2 also has other systems that are like different from Path of Exile 1 or other ARPGs. There's the negative item rarity strategy, which I think
you gotta be careful with that, because that's also another temple farm method. You gotta be careful about that one. All right, you gotta be careful about that. But to be honest, like, you are right. Like, let's look at like mapping. Let's look at deadly bosses. Let's look at Garruk's Resolve. Garruk's Resolve, last time I checked, was like 400 to 500 div. It's a 1/6 chance for it to drop. You just hit that map over and over, and then what is it? Is it Grand Paradise? Yeah, Grand Paradise is like 49 exalted orbs. And when I say 400 divs, not 400 exalts, 400 divs with the Garruk's Resolve.
Yeah.
So like, you just start mapping insanely, and then the grand project is
I have
like
a question. Visions
of
Paradise, that's the double map. You can run the map twice.
Visions of Paradise is the double map.
Okay.
Where you can run it twice.
Okay.
Because you have to do that on your citadels and also on your deadly boss maps.
Okay.
And then the grand project is where you can utilize a tower to skip maps.
Right.
The best way to map is to skip all the maps.
Okay, stop with the skip stuff. Come on.
Congratulations.
You try to skip all the content in the game.
Skip maps, skip campaign, skip.
Brief aside on that, a lot of people have said that they think that should just be in it to towers, where if you clear a tower, it's just a base grand project. Would you be yay or nay for that?
I would be 100% yay for that, because the current reward for tower is a precursor tablet, and that's worthless. Absolutely worthless.
Yeah.
All right? Like, tablets.
Oh.
Like, where is our stash tab for tablets? If you're going to keep this in the game, where is the stash tab? Because I have premium tabs full of tablets. 90% of them are worthless. I could spend Chaos Orbs to go ahead and try to re-roll for a good mod, but I'm gonna be honest, I got 50 other like white tablets I can just elk or like aug, transmute, aug, and then elk if I didn't get the thing I wanted, right? So like, what's the plan of tablets, man? They're like, so like, let me chance them. Let me like be able to turn a precursor tablet into a tablet of a league mechanic that I want to run. Because I have so many precursor tablets that I don't want to deal with, but I want to run like more breach. But I have like 0 breach tablets, or I want to run more like abyss. I have 0 abyss tablets. I have tons of abyss tablets. I'm just giving an example, right?
Yeah.
But like, let us funnel that worthless resource into something a little bit better. Because like towers, the reward for towers, it's vision, and it's a tablet.
Yeah, and using a grad project. That's pretty much it right now. No, towers. I feel like if the Infinite Atlas stays, they're gonna get another rework because they are. I use them for vision, right? But that's it. I feel like GGG probably envisioned something a lot different for them. I'm still on the bandwagon if they point to the next citadel, the next closest citadel. I think they have a beacon and it just shows you where the nearest iron, copper, stone citadel is. I think that'd be kind of cool. Wow.
Do you need that? Okay. Do you really need this?
Some people
Once
do.
Once you hit a citadel, okay, all right. Some people, all right.
Some people.
Me. I'm just saying, by a binomial distribution, the more you go out and out and out, you will find citadels. I have like 20 citadels. I haven't done any of them because I just don't want to run them, honestly. They scare me.
How many hours do you have in this league again, bro? How many hours?
A little too many.
Come on.
But I do have 3 characters.
You have 600 across all PoE2 leagues.
Yeah, 600.
Okay. Yep. How many this league, if you could estimate?
I'll probably say like maybe 150 or 200. I'll be honest, right? It's a lot.
How long ago did you have a newborn again?
I mean, a couple months ago. I mean, hey, it severely slowed down once I had my child. So, like, trying to be a good father.
It didn't speed up. I mean, he sleeps a lot,
He does sleep. He does sleep. Good. But I gotta, sleep in the baby sleeps. Please do that. Do not sleep in the baby sleeps. All right. We all know the meme. Let's take the sleep out of the schedule and slide in Path of Exile, right? Just sleep in the baby sleeps, and it's actually, I'm gonna be honest, it's part of the reason I don't have a Mirror of Calandra right now. Also because I'm dumb.
Literally blaming your baby for no Mirror of Calandra.
100%.
That's a
Don't mind
first.
me spending all of my divs on random rings that give me 30,000 damage per second increases. Don't mind me not investing my currency like a smart player. I'm just gonna go ahead and blow it on the economy. Come on, give me that ring, give me that item. Yeah. So
Constantly
yeah,
gambling. The ring. Okay.
100%.
So you've talked a lot about like the farming strategies to me personally. Everybody
Yeah.
knows the reason I'm not really talking about this is because I am unga bunga. I just go if I see a cool loot drop on my loot filter. Thank you, Neversink. I'll list it. I'll sell it. If I get a div drop, awesome. I don't focus on any farming methods. But you've shared some here, and we talked about some others, like your Venter's Gamble farm, your corruption farm. I don't think you actually did corruption farm.
So
Do any stand out to you as like, I know you farmed Trilef Sukkama after refusing to touch it, basically, through the first 3 patches. Like, any favorite farm that you would recommend?
I gotta say, negative rarity farming in Temple has been my favorite to go because it's such a rush when you get an exceptional base drop, and you can like, is this the 200 divine one? Is this the 400 divine one? And it's like 60 divs or it's like 10 divs, and you're like, listen, I understand I'm disappointed, but I'm still happy I got more divs, right? And like it's just, that's been my favorite farm because like it's so unintuitive that less rarity gets me more money than more rarity. Like, I can get to 200 rarity, but that's nothing compared to negative 69 rarity or negative 80 rarity, right? It's absolutely nothing. And I just gotta hold on for a second. I want to shout out a channel that I've been like following this entire league in 0.4. One's in the chat. I have been watching his content. Every time he comes with a new farming method, I try my darnest to go on and learn why it's a good farm and try to engage with the economy. I remember when he did his like, a corruption, and maybe I think he also did Venter's Gamble as well. That right there, that's a cool channel to check out, honestly, for eco stuff. So
yeah, I'll put the
lot.
link in the description of this video. 100%. One's in the chat. Big shout out. He also inspired you to do that headhunter gambling spree that ended in a way that we just won't advertise on this podcast. I just feel like people don't need to know. It's fine. Things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
You can go into the archives of another channel to see what my brother did to poor people early on in 0.4. So, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Listen. They bought the belt. They bought the belts.
They did.
Was it gonna end up in the headhunters? No, but they bought them anyways. So,
and honestly,
them at that point in time.
Speaking of headhunters, dude, headhunters.
Oh my gosh.
How many divine orbs is a headhunter?
So last time I checked, and this is very outdated, it was like 4 div, right? I think it's like in the annulments now. But I just want to say that like headhunters, the price of headhunters is a symptom of a couple of different things. One, it's of Temple, because it's dropping in Temple like no tomorrow. And 2, a lot of people were rushing headhunters to go ahead and sell headhunters because it was worth 40 divs, and that was a lot of divs in the very first couple of weeks of 0.4. And then 3, async trade. There is no way, in my opinion, that headhunters could maintain such a low price if it were not for async trade. Because
Why?
no one would trade like, I'm not gonna waste my time to trade a 4 div headhunters out of maps. Right? At that point in time, like before async trade, I would have to message the player via the trade website. They have to invite me to their party. I'll jump over, try to get in contact with them, and then buy headhunters. And in this league, when stuff is selling for 600 divs, who's going to sell 4 div headhunters?
Oh, so
would headhunters even stay 4 divs? Would it actually be around 20 to 40? Because it's the inconvenience of selling it like that.
Wow, so your theory is people would basically add a time tax on if it weren't for
100%.
async trade. They're 2 div right now, by the way. Headhunters
They're 2 div. That's crazy. That's awesome.
It's insane.
Right?
Yeah, so async trade is making them way more available. Obviously, T0 uniques are dropping like candy in juice temples. Is this a good thing?
Yeah, I would agree. So I like enabling players. I love the fact that at a campaign I can buy a headhunters on a new character and then zoom through maps. Now I understand that we have a very different opinion here, but I like to say the more availability these items have, the more players get to interact with them, and the more fun I think players will have. To be honest, right? I think there is some merit to locking items behind restrictions, like temporalis, right? I mean, like, shoot, I'm never gonna get that item ever in my entire life, right? And it's super powerful, right? But like, I think it's still a positive influence that Headhunters is this cheap. Gonna be honest.
I think Headhunter's the same way, though, especially in a league where the temple exists. It gives so much raw power to your character. It fixes so many builds. It enables so many builds. It makes builds not special. It makes them not unique. It's just like, oh, my build's struggling. Slap on a Headhunter. And I think that's a problem with the item and the lack of other items that can replace Headhunter. Yeah. And two, I also think that's just a problem with its availability and the fact that anybody can get it. It used to be an aspirational, at least to me. Like, I remember, actually, I never got a Headhunter in PoE1. I got a Mage Blood, which is basically a Headhunter equivalent. But I remember when that used to be, several years ago, that used to be like, oh my gosh, I got my Headhunter, finally my build can come online. Finally, this specific build can work, and it felt so good. And I know you don't play PoE1. That's kind of faded in PoE1 as well. You can realistically, deterministically farm a lot of these items very quickly, and that prestige factor is gone. And you're right that it is allowing a lot more players to experience this level of fun. And I know a lot of people have some weird they have a disconnect with my weird opinions of, wow, you don't play that much, but you also think there should be these chase items that you'll never get in the game and you'll never really be able to access. Yes, I do. I like the aspirational factor, the wow, this item, okay, I could farm up to buy it if I had more time. Or, man, in 1.7 PoE2, I could get a Headhunter drop, and I will always remember that Headhunter drop as long as I play Path of Exile 2, and it will be, this sounds so silly now that I'm saying that, a life-defining, game-defining moment. I'll commit it to my long-term memory, and it would be magical. I don't think that would happen. I think very few items in the game, in the open drop table of the game, achieve that now in PoE2. There'll be more in the future. I think it's like Mirror of Kalandra. I think if a Mirror of Kalandra dropped, I'd be like, whoa. But if a Headhunter dropped, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm cool, but not, whoa, this is so cool, right?
I have to get reminded of an MMO we used to play together, DDO. And there were items in DDO that you would run a wilderness map to go ahead and try to farm a rare 5 times a day to see if you can get the Bloodstone in the desert map, right? Yep. And the thing about that is that the Bloodstone was an awesome item. It made your build stronger, but it did not enable the build. And I think I have an issue with unique items that become Mirror of Kalandra rarity that just purely enable a build, right? Because congratulations, now I, as a normal player with a job, with a kid, with a wife, with friends, with social obligations, with other things out there, when working out, and I have an hour, maybe like 5 hours a week playing Path of Exile 2, there are just some builds that I'll never be able to play, even like a bad version of a build, right? I'm not talking like give me the Monty Hall, instant kill, 0 cooldown, yada yada yada, right? I'm talking about like a hacked version of the build. Some uniques are just locked behind that, and I don't think that's good for the player base, right? I'll maybe give you a slight example of this that's not exact but parallel. Spirit Gems and Cast on Crit and Cast on Ailment is locked at level 14 skill gem level. That is in interludes. That is basically past the entire campaign. My build I was playing didn't come online till interludes. And when it did come online, I had a lot more fun, but I could not experience that fun playing all the other acts. And it felt bad. It did.
No, I do. I think your point is valid. I think it's a fun. It is just a fundamental disagreement in like how games should be designed, because a lot of people also kind of this idea when talking about a campaign skip and the fact that, oh, you know, the build I want to play doesn't come online until, like you just said, a certain time. And, you know, we're just talking with Headhunter, we're talking about like a certain item, getting that.
Yeah.
I think I do think that's cool. And I do like that there are certain items that are build enabling, you know. How about this? I think your concept would be okay. Like, it would work. Like, you know, having them more freely available. Like, it's cool that Headhunter is more freely available if it enabled a certain sect of builds. But I swear, right now, Headhunter enables
it's best in slot. It's
just best in slot. Like, it's this one item that is widely available that used to be like prestige. I'll just keep using that word. And now it's just, you can get it like that. Everybody can get 2 div. Everybody can get it. You know?
I need to know your opinion. And the thing is that, like, I don't have an opinion on this question because I did not have the experience to formulate it or look back upon it. What was a stronger belt? Headhunter in 0.4 with Temple and like 200% rare monsters, or Ingenuity in 0.1?
It's got to be Headhunter, right? It's got to be Headhunter because it like has less roll variance and everything. Right, but the thing is with Headhunter, I think that there's a couple things. Like, one,
max it.
I think it's just the Temple though, dude. Like, and the fact that they juiced up maps to have so many rares. It's all it all goes back to the way they've decided to design the game, which, you know, we should probably save for a different episode. But yeah, like you want to zoom in PoE2 maps. There's lots of rares in the maps. There's with Abyss, with Breaches now have more rares.
Yeah.
If there are more rares, Headhunter is going to be like, and builds are zooming. Headhunter will always be best in slot because it is going to gig up off you. So yeah, it is such a fascinating discussion. I do see your point, and I think a lot of people that will resonate with a lot of people. And I do feel you. I think I would be kind of miffed if this build I really, really wanted to play was locked behind this one item. Maybe my real problem is that just Headhunter is so widely available and it's BIS for everything. I think that's maybe a better. That's fair. That's a better rundown of my thoughts on it.
I would say that like Headhunter does not fall into the slot of build enabling. It just build enhances, right? Like, there's no build that actually uses these rare monster modifiers to do something else in their build. There's no, it's not consumed in something else. So, you know, it's not like Ritualist, right? Actually, Ritualist doesn't even do that. Ritualist is a little bit. Can I just say Ritualist needs to be as strong as Headhunters, because Ritualist should have like the Headhunter's ability, but not have 5 seconds of I will stab this monster for 5 seconds. Now I have 1 rare modifier.
Engaging gameplay.
Yeah, it's a 0.2 artifact, honestly, in my opinion. So yeah, we can. Fair enough. I think that async trade is going to prove to be a massive issue for your point, where you want these uniques that are super giga powerful to stay at a low cost, right? Now there's gonna be some where it's never going to get that point. I feel like Temporalis, like shoot, people are running specific builds, I believe, to just hit that Trial of Sekma without getting hit once. And that's always gonna stay very high price. But like things like Headhunters, I can chance it, I can drop it, like it's just, and then I can leave the league. Here's the issue: I can leave the league, and my Headhunters, which is listed for 40 div, is still 40 div. So when the price goes up to 40 div, I keep it there because it gets bought out. Or more than likely, it keeps dropping because more people are leaving the league and putting Headhunters for lower prices not being bought. And now there's Headhunters on the market that are still 40 div. They're still listed for 40 div. No one's going to buy them. And if Headhunters ever goes up, the amount of supply to go up and actually obtain, Headhunters just can't climb back up to a high price right now. Right? And it won't in this league.
You're talking in very smart terms. Smart terms. I think you're underestimating how hard the Temple is going to get hit and how much that is contributing to T0 uniques being flooded on the market. And we got a deep, maybe not deep dive, maybe just a shallow swan, I don't know, leap, whatever, into the Fate of the Vaal actual league mechanic, because that that it's quite the story. For those of you who might just be popping back into Path of Exile 2 for 0.5, or maybe you're not really caught up to date with 0.4, here is the rundown in 20 seconds of the Fate of the Vaal League mechanic. You build your own dungeon. Upon launch, amazing in the campaign. Everybody thought it was trash in endgame. Everybody complaining on the forums, including me. I'm complaining in videos, on stream, blah, blah, blah. GGG buffs the temple right as people figure out how it actually works, kind of, and how to make it become the best farm in the history of either Path of Exile game. So they figure out this farm, GGG buffs it, and inflation just skyrockets. Divs fly. People are getting like 200 divine orbs from one temple run, getting multiple headhunters, tiers or uniques, exceptional bases, all this stuff. And then GGG sees that there's some abuse going on in game, some clever use of game mechanics to build really fast temples. They're doing like mid-league changes to the temple specifically. At one point, they removed the most profitable farming method for the temple. And the reaction was so angry by the player base, they actually reverted the change. So the temple, at the end of the day, is literally the best currency farming place ever in the history of Path of Exile 2 or Path of Exile 1. And T0 uniques, and you just get to build your own dungeon essentially tile by tile. So it's very interesting, and I think it's great. It just was poorly explained when it first got into the game. The UI was trash. It's been improved, but like I generally agree with the like community response to it. The idea that I just gave. What were your thoughts on Temple initially, and then as it progressed through the actual league?
I think that so once again. Came into this league. Temple was awesome during campaign. Gave me currency via the workbenches. Allowed me to craft items. It kind of felt like what Abyss was doing in the beginning, where it allowed me to craft with my items. That was awesome, right? Cool. But as I hit endgame, I just didn't see the value in Temple, and that's because no one had at that point in time. People were still learning the Temple. People started trying to understand what it is, and now sitting where I am now. That was the biggest mistake I've ever did, was actually not do Temple. That was the biggest mistake. That's the second reason I don't have Mirror Calandra. My son and Temple. So the thing is that once the math was worked out, and I believe the math is where you take your player item rarity and you take the area item rarity, and it's actually apparently it's multiplied. So you can have like 7,000 item rarity in your Temple as you're going through a bout and just obliterating everything. And once that was broken, and once people figure out how to do the locks, there you go. That was insane. That was this is the best farm method. And I want to speak on what you mentioned there briefly, where GGG tried to nerf the Temple. What now? I don't know if you recall what they did. What they did was not nerf the Temple. They did not nerf the Temple.
They made it so you couldn't basically save your snakes. Your snakes would be destroyed, right?
Only for players trying to build their temple. If you had already built your temple, you were fine. Right. Your div machine was still printing that money.
It was even worse.
That was the craziest thing ever, because everyone's like, hold up, Temple is actually insane. We gotta get the Temple. So everyone's trying to catch up the Temple, building Temple, putting down Spy Master, getting the locks, lock Spy Master. And then GGG's like, you know what, guys? I think Temple is actually a little too powerful. I know a way to slow it down. Let's just make sure that all the players who are trying to build their Temple get utterly screwed, and all the players who actually have their Temple built are still printing divines like no tomorrow. Because like that, and by the way, I think that's actually a lot of players' frustration in this league, is that like if you were in early, if you took advantage of Holton, if you took advantage of the Temple locking when that patch was released, right? You were just way ahead of the game, and that's where a lot of frustration from the player base was. Like, they felt kind of cheated, honestly. And honestly, I agree, they were, right? Like, you had the easiest way to build your Temple, and then once your Temple was built, you weren't affected by the nerf that GGG put in.
Yeah, dude, I was literally subconsciously running defense for grinding your games. I'm never gonna beat the allegations, man. I'm never gonna beat them, because I literally forgot. I literally forgot. You're so right. Oh, that's why it was a firestorm.
That's why it was a firestorm.
Yeah, that was that's a huge part of the firestorm. And after that, they like stopped touching it essentially.
They undid it.
They undid it. They did
within 24 hours. They undid it.
They did. There was a lot of
job.
pushback.
Thank you.
There was a lot of pushback, and I mean, it's okay. I think that mechanics like this in Path of Exile are awesome as long as they are onboarded to the players correctly. I think I said it earlier in our pod today that if the UI was cleaner, explained more about the foundation of the Vaal Temple, I think a lot more people would have loved this league, including myself, and league mechanic particularly. But it wasn't cooked enough. Essentially, they pushed it out. It worked, right? People had to suss it out, do lots of experimentation. But I like that this, as long as it's explained, is in the game now. It's like an out of map mechanic, that it's basically a huge game in the game. I know you said the end game update was pushed, and you're totally right. The base end game update was pushed. But this is probably the most depth the Path of Exile 2 endgame has ever had with the Fate of the Vaal. If you look at it, the amount of juicing you can do, all the different strategies. You got your XP farming temples. You have your negative rarity temples. You have your giga rarity temples. Like you have your Atziri farming, right? By the way, that Atziri bug where you couldn't connect rooms and it was a bug for 2 months. Oh, GGG. Oh gosh. Oh. Unfortunate. By the way, Atziri, probably the coolest looking boss fight in the game. So sad she has like no hit points. But I was curious because those are my thoughts on them. Like I really like them. And it really fleshes out the game and makes it more diverse. I really like that there's different, basically entire content areas you can go. Like if Vaal Temple stays, I think it will, and that'll be great. And it'll be this long-standing, deep, interesting system they'll be able to build on, or people will be able to tinker with alongside everything else that's in Path of Exile 2. What is your opinion on these? Because it's the first one in PoE 2. It's not in map, essentially. It's completely out of map. A lot of those in PoE 1, but the first in PoE 2.
I need to touch on a little thing there. When this was first released, experimentation was a big part of it, right? Like the information of what Temple actually did, we didn't get a lot of information. Now you can hover over the tiles, you know what rooms upgrade what rooms will drop what medallions, and what to expect from the rooms. But in the initial phase, you were expected to just experiment. And I think that's perfectly fine and okay. But the issue with Temple was we didn't really know. For me personally, I didn't really know how much of the rooms would be destroyed. So I'm like, how much time do I want to put into Temple, where I'm experimenting, trying to understand what's going on. I have a very limited number of hours to play this game. And maybe I make something cool and then it just gets utterly destroyed, right? This is before I knew the locking medallion existed, right? And I didn't want to build something cool that would just get destroyed by RNG, right? So for me personally, I was just dragged out of Temple early on because of the RNG factor of destroying the temple, right? I think one thing they can do to make, I think Temple should definitely go in 0.5. 100% please add 0.5. And I would even recommend to not nerf Temple in the ways a lot of players want it to be nerfed. I think the biggest thing you can do Temple to make it a mechanic that everyone can play with, that people can do it fighting Ziri, can go ahead and actually run cool temple rooms or run temples. Just make the map smaller. Just make it smaller. Remove 2 rows, remove 2 columns, make it smaller. This would cap the amount of rarity you can have in Temple. Less divs are dropping, less Mirrors of Calandra are dropping. People will be a little more happy with that. You can still build your money machine. I think Temple should still be a money machine, honestly, because you're building up to it over time, right? And it also allows players to better get to Aziri. It is so easy to fight the Abyss Pinnacle. It is so easy to fight the Ritual Pinnacle. It is so easy to fight any other pinnacles, but the Pinnacle of Temple, I've never fought her. I have no idea what she is. And honestly, I don't care because she seems a little difficult to get to, and I don't want to put all that effort in. I got to run like 50 maps to get to her. Why do that when I can just buy Kulomok's Invitation, buy Ritual Splinters, buy Breach Splinters, or whatever? And like, you know what? People who got temples who are fighting Aziri every time, let them go at it. I'm not going to make money on that.
Yeah, it is a gamble. She is easier to face now. By the way, you're missing big cinematics. Okay, you're missing big cinematics.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
She's easier to get to now.
Are the comments?
You actually won't see anything. You're totally right.
Okay, cool. I don't care.
You won't see anything because the comments. which
there you go.
need to be nerfed, by the way, not buffed, as something is subtly hinting to in your background. But the temple itself, you think just decreasing the size, because that'll decrease the number of loot rooms. Okay, I kind of see where you're going from. Okay, what if, hear me out, number of rooms decreased, also more volatile. I know you hate the destruction mechanic, but if it's going to be a long-standing thing in the game, do you think it should be exploding more or resetting more? Or do you think once you build up to that steady state, it kind of stays in the steady state if you know how locks work, which everybody's gonna at this point.
Yeah.
People have the knowledge they learned in 0.4. So getting to this temple, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier and everything's going to ramp up a whole lot faster. What's the solution to that as the game designer?
Let's go ahead and just like take a look at one thing right here, right? Okay. How do you feel when you in 0.1 juiced up a map? You have 4 towers around that one map. You put everything on that map. Maybe you're doing ritual, maybe you're doing breach, and you juice that map to Kingdom Come. And then you play the map and you die in the first 5 seconds. And congratulations, you have lost all that setup, all that work. It's spent hours trying to map around completing maps because you're not the best player. You know, there are better players who can do maps in 2 minutes, right? Who cares, right? And now you lost all that juice. You will get the exact same feeling if you allow Temple to be volatile and to blow up after it's been fully constructed or from full construction. I think that the locking medallions are awesome, need to stay in the game, and it would feel bad to remove them or to reduce their rarity because now you're letting RNGesus come into play and mess up players' days.
Like, he has risen, by the way. He has risen.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay, so no, I think that's fair. I'm almost playing devil's advocate because I hear what you're saying. GGG is notorious for triple tapping stuff. And while I do think that the temple is going to remain pretty intact, I think there's going to be some significant target nerfs to the currency volume and the T0 volume. And I'm thinking of ways that would kind of hinder that without setting artificial limits, essentially, by grinding your games, like ways to tinker with the mechanics. Like what? They could limit the amount of item rarity. They could say, okay, currency drops are reduced in the set. But I think they do a lot of stuff. But that's like not dealing with the actual mechanics they've designed for the temple here. So yeah, it's so interesting to talk about just as a player of games and not a designer of games, because I just said how I want to be explained things, like how to initially build your temple. And you said, oh, I didn't know about the locks. And when I found out about that, oh my gosh, so many things clicked into place. It's like that fine line between what do I place in front of the players and what do I obscure so that they have that moment of, whoa, surprise.
Well, here's the issue.
So cool. I know.
I never had that moment of, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I saw people do it. I saw other people do it. I saw people with more time do it. I saw people whose jobs were to do this, right? It's not my job to play Path of Exile 2. It's my job to relax. And I just want to make a cool build. Is it builds me best? No. But like, the thing is that obscuring so much from the player has now locked the average player out of finding the cool mechanic. Because I'm not going to find the cool mechanic. I can't have the time to find the cool mechanic. A YouTuber will, and that's going to pop in my feed 50 times.
Don't point at me. Hey, don't point at me. Don't do that. I just.
Where's your Vaal Temple, Talkative Tribe? Where is it? What does it look like?
You don't want to see my
temple. Post your temple pics.
My temple's a little embarrassing. It was really cold here. It was cold. Okay, it was cold. It's usually bigger, but it was cold. Okay, this is quite the podcast to put up on my Talkative Tri Family Friendly channel. But I didn't see. I'm different, right? Because I don't intentionally blind myself, but I don't watch the farming guides unless you send me a ones in the chat video. Then I watch some of those, but I don't go out seeking them. Or if I see a top Reddit post, I don't click okay, I'm not interested. Like a build showcase. I don't know. I keep myself intentionally blind, but for someone like yourself who you want to build awesome characters, you need to kind of be keyed into this. Otherwise, you get priced out, because Path of Exile 2 is not the game where you're going to quickly ascend to extreme godhood unless you're participating in kind of the trade economy and you're in the know for a lot of things, right? So it's fundamentally two different gameplay styles. Yeah.
As soon as a YouTuber posts a way to farm or do a certain farming strategy, the resources to do that certain farming strategy will increase in price, and the amount of money you make from that farm will decrease in value.
True.
Every single time. Every time.
True. Cast on Comments, first YouTube series, quick tips with Cast on Comment, or quick tips with Cock, you know? Just like that.
Don't mind that all of the Omen of Ancients just disappear from the market one day, and then the video's posted, and it's like, Omen of Ancients, actually insane, and then I just dump them for quadruple the price. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. Don't mind that market manipulation whatsoever.
Man. Yeah, see.
What?
No, it's impressive what you were able to do. I remember sitting in Discord watching you do this, just in mass, just clicking,
I
going.
did not do this. I have not done this, okay?
What? Oh, right. You didn't do it.
No.
You didn't do it. No. Other people did it.
I was just doing currency flipping. That's not bad. I was not posting a YouTube video to get more money.
Right.
Yet.
But that's why you started the YouTube channel. To do that.
Of course. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that'd be a good one. Like Currency Strats Exposed, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, years are turning.
We need a CoffeeZilla for looking into YouTubers using their own videos to make in-game POT currency. Like, this YouTuber just went ahead and made a farm guide using Omen of Ancients. Now Omen of Ancients have doubled in price, and there's one seller. It
would be good. You're in a totally black room, you know, just speaking to the camera, going wild.
Man.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh man,
that'd be funny. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good rundown of the temple. It so fascinating to see what happens in 0.5. It would be crazy if we were all just totally wrong and GGG removes the temple. They're like, you know what? We just don't even know. Jonathan coded this thing. You know, he wasn't available. He was too busy doing this other thing. So we're just gonna remove it, and he's gonna get to it in a couple months. Okay. So
hold on. Please don't remove Temple. It is the one mechanic you can keep investing into over and over and over. The only other one is Trial of Sukma. Please don't let that be the only mechanic I can invest more and more time into to get better profit. Please. Okay. All right.
They've heard you.
That's my side.
Trial of the Ancients is coming, or maybe some Delve. We'll have to see.
That's 2 leagues late.
I know. It is 2 leagues late. Eventually, it'll get here. I'm watch it just be nothing like what people expected. It's going to be another iteration of Trial of Sekima, and people are like, no, GGG. Coda was supposed to be the chosen one. What in the world have you done? I'm a little scared. It's just the
Act 4 boss fight 3 times over.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude. Now that you're saying that, it's supposed to be like a tournament style thing. So what if they have like tournament announcer phases in between everything? So instead of like the elevators and Trial of Chaos or going to the next room past Valhalla, it's literally an announcer giving like a 25-second like, and next on the battlefield we have Cast on Comet alongside his, like, come on, like, it could be. Any
long animation is super cool the first time.
Agreed.
The 50th time, I'm sorry, whoever's the animator, you did an awesome job. It's so great. Please, let's make this a meme. Add the skip.
Please. I'm fine with that skip, honestly. Like, Tavakai is criminal. Do you know how long
it takes for the breach boss to get off his chair?
I will say 6.5 seconds.
It takes long enough for my power chargers to run out.
Oh.
That's all I know. That's all I know as a player. All my buffs go bye-bye.
Here you go. Invest in power charge duration. There you go. That's the solution. Just do that. That's a thing on the tree that you want to use, right? That's not wasted nodes, okay? You specifically do that so you maintain your Zesht power charges on your let me check my notes. Your cast on crit blood mage, your cast on crit ritualist, your cast on crit, cast on ailment, invoker. Okay, so we're gonna this is probably gonna be a 2-parter because we're closing on the hour. I think the last 10 minutes of the pod, let's talk about just the builds in 0.4. Okay, starting with your namesake.
Okay.
Cast on, because everybody knows my opinion. I think they are antithetical to Path of Exile 2. I think that they are the pinnacle of what everybody's trying to achieve right now. They are the most powerful builds in the game, and they have been ever since the tech was discovered. It's been basically started with like cast on freeze in 0.1. They've just been evolving. These builds are the strongest, and they are the most disgusting. They clutter the screen in boss fights and in maps and packs. It's nasty. It's nasty, and it's too powerful. And I think there's a place, an archetype, but it shouldn't be the archetype. And it's still, even if the archetype exists, it's way too messy, and they need to either be A, deleted from the game until GGG can figure out what to do with them, or B, significantly changed in multiple ways. Now, Talk, what do you think about that? You want to fight me?
Thank you, TT. All right, so, no. They're perfect. Exactly where they are. They're awesome. Here's the real issue. There's no alternative. There isn't.
Right.
Crit is the way you do damage because it's a multiplication in the equation. There is no other way to scale damage that high than crit. There just isn't. All right? And the thing is that like these should still be optimal ways to build a character and to play a character in a certain playstyle. It's just that all the other playstyles aren't good enough. They're not. Make them stronger.
Right.
Right? Allow
or bring down cock. Bring down cock. Why do we need to Why do we need to buff the other playstyle? Cock is it's way too much. It's too much AoE. It's too much damage. It's too many projectiles. It's too many things happening on screen. Bring it down.
You got something wrong with cock, man?
Dude, yes. Okay, Koa isn't that great either. Cast on ailment, especially with flame breath. Oh my gosh, that's absurd. When you showed me your flame breath build,
that's awesome.
I just okay. So you
can you put a clip? Can you put a clip of that, like one of our boss fights?
Sure.
I'm just like
inserting clip in post here while we're talking. Look at that. Look, that's disgusting. Why would this should not be in Path of Exile? So do you think the solution okay, so cock is fine, and the solution is actually to buff other skills to be as powerful.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Add more flat damage. Make flat damage
better.
Well,
it's not even just the flat damage, it's the screen clear, because you put Comet on Spark.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question. Is your only issue Comet on the cast-ons?
No, it's pretty much it's just because it's literally just it is screen vomit. Like it's crazy.
I disagree. I'm running cast on crit with Spark. Spark's my main skill, and then on the cast on gem is just Thunderstorm, and it's just a little bit of lightning bolts coming down. There is no screen clutter. There isn't.
But it is. The thing is that it's one click, and you're just filling up the entire. Okay, it's not one click, but you hold your mouse button down, and you're filling up the entire screen. And I feel like there should be a trade-off for that. Like you should be weaker in some other regard.
Visual clarity. I can't see what they're doing. Okay. Hold up.
True. True.
I think Comet, honestly, yeah, does it do a little damage? Does it do AoE damage? Probably is a lot. Also, realize all those builds are most likely running Cascade, so it's not one Comet, it's like 4 Comets or 5 Comets that are coming down, pretty much. And they have repeats, they come down again, too. There's a lot of Comets on down. But, like, to be honest, other spells should be just as powerful in the cast-on slot, in the cast-on ailment slot, in the cast-on crit slots as Comet. Comet right now is just the best one there. And honestly, Comet as a skill sucks.
It does.
I would never... It sucks to cast. To actually cast Comet as a main skill is one of the worst skills in Path of Exile 2 to cast. It takes 1 second at least of cast time. And that you're just dead in this current meta. In 0.2, probably doable. In 0.3, 0.4, and probably 0.5, it's not viable. And all the other spells, they should be more viable in the cast on slot. So maybe with Comet, maybe take the damage down a little bit, get rid of that cast plus timer, right, for Comet, and then buff the other spells. Make them good in slot.
You bring up, okay, 2 great points. The first, Comet being terrible to just cast yourself.
Yeah.
Because it has 1 second minimum cast time, I believe. It's kind of like the mace skills where they have minimum attack time.
Plus 1 second of cast time.
Plus 1 second of cast time. Yeah, so that feels bad. You lose control of your character. Like you said, people get swarmed. The creature that you're aiming at, unless you froze it in some regard or whatever, it's already at you. It's out of the area that you're throwing the comet at. Maybe they envision it, oh, you stun a boss, you use it on the boss. That's not how like a lot of people really want to play. So like I still am of the mindset that pretty much everything should be usable while moving. And kind of like, you know, people shooting bows, a lot of the other spells. I think that'd be an awesome change to Comet. Don't bake it into a support gem. Just give us the freedom of movement. Losing control of your character. Somebody left a comment on the last video saying like, one of the #1 things that people hate about games is losing control of your character. Yes. They were kind of saying that's why you hate being mini stunned, because you lose control of your character. It's so frustrating. That also happens with skills. And when you are deliberately choosing to lose control of your character, it feels bad. And you know what feels way better? Being able to move while casting Spark and just have the comet blast up on top of the enemies while you're moving casting Spark. Like, it feels just way better. So I feel like there's a fundamental issue with the way some spells are designed with the way the monsters are designed too still, and that's a huge topic.
This. And they know this, because look at electrocuting arrow. It used to be a jump skill where you would jump over the creature, shoot it, and then land the other side, and now it's just a basic projectile where you just shoot those with an arrow. They know that type of loss of control or skill isn't desirable. But skills like Pounce are, because it's a lot more control and you're also like going farther. It's actually usable, right? But Comet, no. Electric Arrow, no. I tried to do it in 0.1. It just didn't work, honestly.
And this is a little bit of like a preview for 0.5 predictions, which we will be doing probably in the next episode, you guys. I think instead of classes for 0.5, I think it would almost be better, honestly, to do a fundamental rework of a lot of the lesser used skills, a lot of the more frustrating skills and weapons, and kind of make everything as good as Talisman is. I think Talismans, the way that their skills are designed, but not only their skills, their basic attacks and the innate abilities built into, yes, the shape-shifting form, but why not build, like, this might sound crazy, why not build passive benefits into each weapon type? Okay, you're using a quarterstaff. Maybe you have plus 10% block chance. You know, you're parrying with the quarterstaff. What if you're using a 2-handed mace? You have a much higher stun threshold and Like, I feel like, I know these are kind of like the weapon implicits, but maybe if PoE2, your weapons are going to be tied to the skills you use. So, like, literally, why not also build base passive character buffs into these weapons like they did for the bear, the wolf, and the wyvern? I think that'd be kind of a sick idea.
Well, they've actually already done this. They've built base passive character nerfs into mace, so you got that. But I totally agree with you. Like Talisman showed us what they can do with weapon-specific skills. The wolf auto attack is insane. The wyvern auto attack is one of the best clears wyvern has, right? Then you have the bear auto attack. It's just kind of a slap. I didn't really play bear. Didn't look.
You can combo it though with the slam. Like, you can go up onto your hind legs and you can. It removes the added attack time it takes for the slam or for your roar. So you're engaged in how you're actually using your various abilities. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Why doesn't the other weapons have cool basic auto attacks? Honestly, It'd be so cool.
I
Imagine like bow where you can like maybe it's a frenzy charge generator or it uses frenzy charges, right? Or it does something else completely different that maybe buffs your character slightly in this other way. Like there's so many cool possibilities that they've shown us with Talisman. Don't just give us the basic attack.
Yeah, I think that might be the missing link. That's wild speculation, but I think
Yeah.
that would be a awesome out of left field change for PoE2 after seeing just how much people have really loved the talisman skills, especially the basic attacks and how fluid it makes the forms feel like that might also be spectacular with, like you said, with archers, with maces and all the
Yeah,
rest.
I mean, imagine what you can do with, like, for example, something like crossbow, right? The run and gunplay of crossbow, from what I see, besides for shotgun and grenades, is kind of dead with rapid fire. That's as a noob, average player, that's what I saw. Okay, but like maybe make the basic attack. If you have a frenzy charge, it auto reloads the crossbow. So congratulations, you can just focus on the basic attack and do a run and gunplay with crossbow that's more bullet based, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much things they can do here, and Talisman has really opened the doors to what a weapon is and can do.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
I'm pumped too for 0.5. You're right though, rapid fire is dead.
Yeah.
Much like this episode of Brothers in Exile. Thank you all so much for listening, for watching. Leave a comment below on all the topics we discussed. Have any feedback for us? Cast on Comment is using a different mic today. Did it sound better, sound worse? So I still need to give him my professional microphone. We'll have to see. Like I said, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Leave us a 5-star review there. It really helps. And we will see you in the next episode. Cast on Comment, closing words.
Keep casting comets. Buff comet. Comet ain't broken. Keep it where it is. Visual clarity not needed.
And make sure, nerf to warrior, right?
Nerf to warrior, guys.
That's
Nerf
right.
To warrior.
All right. See you, Exiles. Bye-bye.